So, welcome to Accelerate Your Life Financial Success Without Extra Time or Money. I know we're really busy, and a lot of us started not with a lot of money, not a lot of capital, and maybe we're really busy. Some of us have jobs and we got obligations, responsibilities, family, a lot of things on our plate. And if our goal is to break that cycle, to get our time back and to get more money, well, we're going to have to do something about it. And if you're in the wrong seminar, this would be your time to exit. Nobody's judging. Well, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody's going to judge you. This is the place that we're going to help you get that first foot into the door. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer here. Okay, this is part of my power team who's there to who's trained and there to teach me the things that I need to know and also keep me safe from anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. So just a general disclosure here. And by the way, these are not like I'm not going to guarantee you all these results here. Okay, this does not promise you great fortune for doing nothing. Your results are solely based on your actions, your willingness to execute, and of course, getting the right help, the coaching and education that you need. But at the same time, the first thing, it does come down to you actually taking action, because without you doing anything, nothing happens. Do we all agree with that? Yes? Okay, by show of hands. Okay, you are in control of your life. You are the driver. Now, in the next 90 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how you can start making money. You're going to start making cash flow through real estate investing in just under a year, doing all of this while being broke and working a full-time job. I know we're busy, and you can do this in any given market, because the market's always going to be changing. And if we're just trying to time the market, or we're waiting for the market to happen, I mean, how many times have we heard, I'll just wait for the market to crash and then I'll do something, and then nobody ever does anything when that time happens anyways? It's not about that. It's learning how to be able to drive in any given condition. When it snows, when it rains, you are that driver, and it's learning how to invest and pivot when you need to. Now, before we get things started, there's a big thing that I know a lot of us face, and we hear this all the time. Who's heard of the quote, like, money is the root of all evil? Have you heard of that before? How many believe in that? Because if subconsciously you truly believe in that, it's going to be very hard for you to actually make money, because you inherently think that money is bad. But I think it's the lack of money is the root of all evil, because money doesn't do anything. It just amplifies who you are. Because if you're somebody that has a lot of money and you're a very generous person, make sure you buy us all dinner and continue to give more to more people, because you have the power to. But the thing is, when you don't have that much money, it's going to be hard to do that. But on the other hand, if you are a jerk and you're not so much of a good person, when you have more money, well, guess what? You're not going to be sharing that. You're going to be even bigger jerk than you were without money. And so money actually amplifies who you are. Okay? And we're all here to be go-givers. Everybody on the team, big part of why we're here today is because we want to give back. We want to continue sharing and paying it forward, because at one point in time, somewhere in our timeline, someone had done this for us as well, and pushed us over that edge to get us going. And it's not easy. However, the fact that somebody did help us along the way, it made it that much more better. Okay? So be that go-giver. So with great power comes great responsibility. The thing too is, when you start to understand how to make money and you know how to make it confidently, everyone around you, everyone that you know, if you can actually do better and you don't, you're almost doing everybody a disservice. Where rather than them, let's say, putting their hard-earned money in a savings account that's making them, I don't know, 1% if they're lucky, you could be helping them make double-digit returns. And then if you choose not to, then it's kind of on you. That goes for your parents. Maybe their retirement. Maybe this is your kid. These are your friends, your family. By the way, I want to make sure that everybody is aware of this. This is not one of those get rich quick schemes. If that is what you're here for, feel free to leave. This isn't what it is. It's not a multi level marketing scheme. We are here to share with you how to actually do and grow your business morally, ethically, and with integrity. Because my mentor always says you are only as great as your last deal. Okay. And the fact is, the inside joke is we always say if Mike can do it, we all can do it. And Mike's a little on the slower side with technology and everything, so we're okay. We love Mike though. He can do it. We can all do it. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're a very busy person. Mike's busy with 2 kids. I have my own kid. I have a business. I'm helping with TYT. Andrew has a kid. Nina has an entire pharmacy that she's running, and she has her own business and life, and she travels the world. We're all very busy, but yet we find time to make this happen so that we can have more time and money and options in our lives. At the beginning, it might be a little tougher, but it is doable. Okay. So, whether you have a full time job, if you weren't inherited to millions and millions of dollars, okay. I mean, I wasn't. I'm Asian, but that's the stereotype. I didn't get inherited with a lot of money. Okay. I had to start somewhere as well and work really hard to get where I am today. Okay. And of course, at any market, at any time, because the best time to invest is now. Now is always going to be the best time, because if you're waiting and waiting and waiting, it's never, ever going to happen. Just ask somebody when they say, you must have gotten at a good time. So why didn't you do anything at the time then? Why didn't you? And then people that says, well, back when 1980s the prices were so low, I would have bought like a whole bunch of them. So why the hell didn't you? Why didn't you buy more properties at the time? Because the best time is always going to be now. We can't turn back time. We don't know the future. We can only do what's in our power at this given moment. Now is the time. Okay. And along with this, it is basically having a proven system, a strategy, a formula, the right community, the right support, and the right people around you to help you get where you are. Okay. So now the other thing is, what I can promise you guys, if you stay to the very end, okay, at the very end, I do have a little special surprise for you guys. The team and I, we have a little gift for you. So stay to the very end and you'll find out what it is. So, what actually makes us different? What makes TYT different? Okay. We don't just talk the talk. There's a lot of people talking on screens all day long with their Ferrari and Lamborghini and their mansion. We don't talk the talk. Okay. We are just normal people. We all came together as independents because all of us have reached a level of success in our lives, in our business. And we're at the point where, we don't wake up because of money. We don't wake up because we have to go to a job. We wake up because there is more higher purpose of what we want to achieve, more fulfillment of what we want to achieve. And of course, like I said, paying it back. So we walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Okay. Mike's a live example. Andrew, Nina, we're all live examples. This is what we do day in and day out as investors. We are seasoned investors. Now, Trust Your Talent is 100% education focused. I know there's other organizations out there where they teach you just enough so that you depend on them, that you have to invest your money with them and then wait for your money to come back before you can reinvest that money. We're here to share with you how you can be the independent thinker that you need to be a free enterprise. You are your own individual. And this is financial freedom. You can make money when you need it, however much you want, and spend it with whoever you want, because now you're in control. Would it be better if you had somebody that dictates how much money you make, or if you had the power to make the money that you need? Let's think about it. You are in control of your life, but if you gave that power away, well, you got no one else to blame but yourself. Okay? And so you got to find the right support, find the right help, and get the right education to help you get where you need to be. Now, we've done a lot of things wrong. Okay? All of us in this room right now, I mean, we're all in different stages in our lives. For all the coaches, we didn't just start off getting right into real estate. We had to start somewhere as well, whether we were busy with no money, whatever the case was. For me, I started with stocks and I started to be very frugal, and I purged everything because I thought that I had to cut all my expenses in order for me to get into the investing world and save a lot of money. And that literally got me nowhere. Wasted time. Versus, hey, what if I did learn the right thing, the right strategy, surround myself with the right people, and that way I didn't have to make all those mistakes? Because I think the quote goes, a smart person makes mistakes, learns from their own mistakes, but a genius learns from the mistakes of others. Why not leverage the success of the people that were already successful doing it? Why reinvent the wheel? Because the fact is, success, it leaves clues. It does leave clues, but you gotta actually know what you're looking for, and that's what we're here to share with you. Okay. So for me, for the team, after doing this for the last several years, I've been investing for the last 6 years. Mike, Andrew, probably around the same time, and Nina as well. It always starts with a flip of a switch. You didn't just kind of wake up one day and be like, oh, I think I should get started with real estate investing. Something had happened in your life that made you realize, huh, maybe what I'm doing isn't working. Maybe you're in your 30s, maybe in your 40s, 50s. And if you're in your 20s, good for you, because the ones that are beyond 20 right now, we're like, man, you're so lucky that you're starting at 20, because if we could turn back time, I think that's the one regret. If we could turn back time, we would have started earlier. But that was that realization. Something had happened that made you realize, huh, maybe it's up to me to make that life that I deserve. I can't just depend on my boss, my employer, the government, my parents. It is up to me. And the thing is, it's not about the years, but the mileage. Because I started quite young at 26, and I thought, well, who's gonna trust me? Who's gonna look like they're gonna look at me and look at I'm a little kid. But at the same time, within that 1 year of me getting started, I could say confidently that I've learned more in that 1 year than I did for my entire school, my traditional education school. No offense, I love traditional education. I learned a lot, but in terms of life skills and money, that was never taught to me in school at all. And that 1 year had completely changed my life. Now, the other thing is, you really don't need your own money to get started. Like, how much have you tried to save and save and save and save? And 3 years, 4 years, 5 years go by and you still haven't saved enough money. And even if you do save up for that first down payment, for that first deal, how long will it take you to get to that next deal? And the next deal, and the next deal. And if your goal is to continue scaling, then you got to look at ways to actually continue growing sustainably in a predictable manner, in a predictable fashion, so you know what you're going to get the next year and the year after. And as I said before, the success formula is that, it is a process. Okay. It is a skill, because if you knew how to do it, you could do it over and over and over again. One flip project, you could do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lease option. You could keep doing it over and over. It's like making a cheesecake. If you know the magic formula to making the best cheesecake in the world, well, how many cheesecakes can you make? How many deals can you make over and over? And I guarantee you, over time, as you get better at making that cheesecake, you're going to perfect the formula. It's going to taste better and better and better every time. And that means you're going to make more money, more money, more money. And then sooner or later, 20,000 becomes 30, 40, 50. And then you know where your standards are. You're going to look at a deal that makes you, let's say, $40,000, like Mike. And Mike's like, it's only $40,000. I don't think I have time to make 40,000. I'm looking for the bigger deals. This is what I mean by the process that can be repeated over and over and over again. Okay. And I do want to make a point here that we're all waiting for opportunities to fall on our lap. We're looking for, or maybe finding those opportunities. We're going on the MLS and talking to realtors and trying to figure out, oh, where's those great opportunities. hate to break it to you, the best opportunities are the ones that you create. Those are the ones that are in your control because control is power. Myself, Mike, Andrew, Nina, we create our own opportunities, and that's where we make the most profit. Yeah, you might find some good opportunities here and there, but they don't always just land on your lap. And even if they did, and you don't know what to do about it because you're not trained, you don't have the skill set, it's just going to be a lost opportunity anyways. And the last thing here is that I know a lot of us want to achieve financial freedom or financial independence. Financial independence, financial freedom, it's just the beginning. Like what what's after that? What do you want to do after you've been financially independent? Because once you start understanding how to make money, you're not going to live your life every day trying to make money. You actually want to enjoy your life and make money at the same time. Travel, experience life, do things that you haven't done before, give back to charities, help people. So what do you want to do when you actually reach financial independence? Because that's not the goal. That's just a milestone at one point in your life. And the sooner that we can achieve financial independence, the more time we can have for ourselves to enjoy life. Okay? But it starts with no excuses, no fear, and you never settle. You keep growing, you keep going, and you have to take action because the fact is, the magic really happens outside of your comfort zone. If you're staying within your comfort and you're too scared to leave that area, nothing's ever going to happen for you. You have to get out of your comfort zone, make those big decisions, make those big choices in your life, make those big investments because you have to get a little bit scared. And I'm not telling you to make hasty decisions here, right? We're here to guide you in making those right decisions. The decisions that you know deep down inside you, you're like, I know I have to do this, but I'm a little scared. That's the decision I'm talking about. Those are the choices that you have to do. Okay? That's what's going to make all the difference in your life. And I learned that the hard way. I was not always who I was. I was a very meek and shy person. And I never took any risk because I was always scared. But now it's part of life. If you're not experiencing it, what's the point? Now, how many people here, okay? And for those that don't have their cameras on, feel free to turn them on. We don't bite, okay? Like we're all friendly here. Just turn on your cameras. How many people here, just by a show of hands or comment in the chat, okay, believe that time is money? How many people have heard of that before? Yes? Time is money? Okay. See some of the team saying no. Okay. Time is not money. Okay. We've been conditioned to think that way. You get paid what? $20 at your job, $30 an hour at your job. You are not worth that. Your time with your kids is not worth $30 an hour. You can't put a price tag on the time that you spend with your kids or with the things that you actually enjoy doing. I mean, think about it. If you can make $1,000 an hour, would you rather cut your own grass for 1 hour or spend that hour to make $1,000 or rather spend that hour maybe doing something that you really enjoy? Think about that. Because I wouldn't want to cut my own grass. I just pay someone $30 because I can make $1,000 with that same hour. So time is everything. It is your entire life. Because most of us are so busy chasing money. And a little bit, for those that are a little bit more experienced in life, you know exactly what I mean. You've been working so hard for the last 30 years of your life, and you've been chasing and chasing and chasing. And you've been trying to save up that money. And then the more you try to save, the further outreach that the goal is, because every time you save money, the money gets deflated. It's not even worth the same. And that song, like if I had $1 million back in like the 1900s, I know 1900 sounds very long ago, but $1 million today is not $1 million anymore. It's not. Saving is literally for losers because you're losing value every day that you save. And some people try to gamble, they try to get lucky, whether that's playing the stock machines. Yeah, I said the stock machines. Or you actually go to a casino, or you're trying to do it Bitcoin, you're parking into lucky stocks, you know, or you're just trying to buy, rent, and pray and hoping for the best, whatever the case is. And the other thing that we all do, and we've all been there, is keeping up with the Joneses. We're all on our own chapter in our book. Okay. Don't compare your chapter with mine or Mike's or Andrew's. We're all in our own place. Okay. Follow your own path. Don't worry what other people are doing. Don't try to impress other people. Okay. This is your life. If you're busy trying to compare yourself, I think that is the, what is that? The that robs you from joy. I think that there's something like a quote with that. Okay. If you compare yourself with others, it robs you from the joy. Okay. The other thing is people try to figure out everything on their own. If you're trying to figure out everything on your own, I mean, it's going to be very tough. And I've done that myself. The thing is, when you're trying to figure everything out on your own, you're going on YouTube University, TikTok University, and you're looking at all information. Yeah, great. We do live in the information era today. Why is there not more millionaires around us, billionaires around us? Because if information was everything, we'd be there. But it's the applied knowledge. It's the applied knowledge that we have. Okay, we have to apply that knowledge. Okay, and at the same time, we try to make all the mistakes on our own as well. Don't try to make all the mistakes, as I said earlier. You know, geniuses learns from the mistakes of others. Learn from the mistake of me, Mike, Nina, Andrew. If the mistake's already made, why repeat it? Why do the same mistake over again? And then we try to reinvent the wheel. There's this new way of making money. Real estate investing is an old proven path. It's been around for centuries, from kings and queens. And to this day, because real estate is always gonna be needed, no matter where you are, no matter your age, it will never go out of trend. And it is technically one of the biggest investment that someone's gonna make in their life. So it does require a lot of money. Okay. Real estate has been around, so don't reinvent the wheel. Okay. Some of the myths that we hear: you need to write an exam or register or get licensed. That real estate is very risky. Yes, everything is risky if you don't know what you're doing. Just like driving. If you don't know how to drive, I'm not going to be in the back seat with you. Okay? And it's about timing the market. Nobody can time the market unless, if you do have a magic ball, meet me in the back, get my number after. We'll just close this meeting here. Just give me that magic ball. We'll both make a lot of money together. Okay? And you need a lot of money to start. Yes, you do need a lot of money, but it doesn't have to be your money. It doesn't have to be your money. You need to be a handyman. By the way, if you look at my hands, they're baby soft. I don't know how to lift a hammer. I don't know how to do construction. Don't have a construction background. I have a team that helps me do it. And the last one is a zero-sum game that somebody has to lose in order for somebody to win. In the real estate investing world, it's about creating network around you, because your network is your net worth. The people around you, well, they're the people that's going to help you make more money. At the same time, you help them make more money. That is called a win-win. Think about it. If Scott has a deal and I have some money and I look at Scott's deal and the deal makes sense, well, guess what? I could park my money with Scott. It's a win for him. He's going to make money. And I don't have to stress because Scott's doing the work and I get to sit back and make more money. Why not? And if I don't have money starting, well, do I have those great deals that can attract money? And now people are willing to park money with me. It's a win-win for me and for the investor. So how many of you guys want to have the easy way? Or maybe not the easy way, but I guess let's cut out the BS, cut out all the, the noise out there, all the stuff on YouTube, TikTok, all the things that you kind of learn here and there. Let's just get straight to the point. This way, we don't have to make all those same mistakes. We could just get right to it. And that way, you can start making money right off the bat. Okay? There is a better way. We just don't know yet how to do it. And sometimes the answer is just under our nose. Now, in the past for me, I was super terrified. Like, I did not like financing. I did not like real estate investing or investing in general. Yes, I'm Asian. I am not good at math. Okay. So if I could do it, any of you guys can do it. Okay. I did avoid it for the longest time until I was about 24, 25. And that's when I started looking into it. I avoided it because I didn't like the fact that I thought finance, investing, and money was all about math. It was about like trigonometry and, like complex equations and calculus. But the fact is, we don't even use that anymore. We learn it in high school, we learn it in university. We don't even use it anymore. And I could tell you, Mike, Andrew, Nina, we don't even have to do those complex equations. We just punch it into a spreadsheet. We just have to understand how the money works, how the money flows through every deal. The important thing is understanding how that works. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to share with you the top 3 secrets. Okay. Secret number 1, how to find and fund real estate deals ethically, even when you don't have money to start. Secret number 2, how to build and grow a cash flowing real estate portfolio, regardless if you have no time or you're working a full-time job or you have other responsibilities and you're limited. And number 3, how to continue to thrive and grow in any given market condition, whether market's going up, down, or even sideways. Because, like I said, the best time to invest is now. The best time to invest is always going to be now. So let's look at the first one, how to find and fund real estate deals with none of your own money. This is going to be the very first secret. And this is the thing, like, if you have to wait to save money, you got to really think, how long is it going to take you to save up that down payment? Like, if you manage to save $20,000 a year, and every year you're going to put away $20,000, by the way, our jobs don't keep up with inflation. Okay. So now 20,000 for second year, 20,000 for third year, you got $60,000. Most down payments aren't even $60,000. So you're already past the mark. And then you got to think about the second deal, third deal. It's not going to work. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a deal. And this is a deal that I personally did. Okay. It is a lease option opportunity. Now, for this one, you have to find a motivated buyer. So this is what we call a tenant buyer. They're looking for ways to get into their own home. Okay. Then we structure the deal, and then we find an investor. Okay, a willing investor that's willing to park money with me, because I didn't start off with a lot of money. I didn't start off with an inheritance. I had to find an investor that had the capital and trust me in order for me to make this deal go through. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. Me, my investor, my team, the tenant who's looking to own a home. This is what we do as investors. We are problem solvers. So to give you a little background about me, my name is Vince, and I didn't start off as an investor. As I said, I grew up in a little town of North Sydney, Nova Scotia. I had about $52,000 of student debt when I was starting out. And yes, that was a big burden on my life that I actually spent 4 years of my working life, and I've actually paid it down to 42,000 when I quit my job. Okay. And I was working at my dream job, but I was not getting ahead in life, making about $20 hours in one of the cheapest cities in the country, which is Toronto. Okay. And I was just an average Joe. I was no one special. I'm still no one special. I'm just an average person that knows how to make money when I need it. Okay. And of course, I wanted more in my life. I didn't want to just settle at a clinic and just work there till I was 65. I wanted to explore my life and see the world. I wanted to travel, have good food, and be more. And so my epiphany did happen at 26. This was when I had a meltdown. I had my what you call a quarter life crisis. So some of you might have heard of was a midlife crisis. Mine was a quarter life crisis, and I broke down in the middle of the clinic, and that was when my light bulb came on, and that made me realize if it's meant to be, it's up to me. There's no one else that's going to help change my life. Not my parents, not my job, not my employer, not the government. It is up to me to make that difference. And that was that initial light bulb moment. No one's going to be there to save me and feel bad for me. And so I actually met my mentor back in 2018. That was when I started my investing journey. And his name's Ray. He's actually part of our team as well. He's one of the founders on the team here. And the one strategy, which is what I'm going to share with you, was lease option. That was my baby strategy. And that was the strategy that literally helped me quit my job within the first year, well, 7 months to be exact, and helped me fire my boss. And this is the thing. This is the possibilities of what you can do when you can start to be more independent. You can start making money when you want it to, however much you need, when you need it. So this is Ray here. And this is the property that I'm going to be sharing with you. This is the lease option deal. This is actually the first property we've ever bought in my life. That's my partner there. The first property we've ever bought. And we were living in a small little 700 square feet apartment. This house wasn't even for us. It was for our tenant buyer. They lived better than us at the time. And then, of course, nowadays we're living life. We're living life by design and the life that we want and deserve. So let's look at lease option. These are some of the deals that I've worked on in the past. And some of the pictures. So let's go into this. This is the tenant profile here. So we have a family of 4 and a dog. Husband is a regional manager, okay, for a furniture store. And the wife was an accountant. She had the total household annual income is about $150,000 at the time of this deal. I think it was about almost 5 years now, because we just exited out of this deal. But 5 years ago, 150 was a decent amount of money. Not today. That's barely anything now with inflation. And of course, for this tenant profile, they also brought $10,000 as their initial deposit for them to actually enroll into this program. So that's what they use to enroll into this program. Okay, so pay attention, guys. So this deal was a 3-year deal. The current purchase price of today at the time was $453,000, and what we sold the property back to them at $525,000. That was the future purchase price. The initial investment required was $98,000 that I did not have. That was not money that I had sitting around, but I had somebody in my network. It was somebody that was in the same class as me at the time when I was a student, who knew me, who trusted me, despite me looking like a baby. By the way, I grew my mustache and my beard to look a little bit older at the time because I felt like nobody's going to trust me. But there was one person that did end up trusting me with $100,000 right there. And so they parked the money with me. So for this deal, the monthly rent is $2,250. The initial option, which is the money that they put into the program, was $10,000. That's how they got started. And the monthly option, which is the money that we're putting aside for the tenants every month, was an extra $1,180. So at the end of the day, it's how much money in and versus how much money out. Okay, so income versus expense. And after everything was said and done, we had almost $1,000 in monthly cash flow. $1,000. So for everybody in the Zoom right now, if you could make $1,000 extra every month, for the next 3 years, what would that do for your life? How would that change? Maybe not a big, huge impact, but maybe your groceries are paid. Maybe your electricity bill, your rent, portions of it is paid. Maybe you're doing pretty well and you bought a nice new car, and that's like a lower end luxury car. Now you get to drive a nice car for the next 3 years. What could an extra $1,000 do for you on a monthly basis for the next 3 years? And the total cash flow, 49,375, and the total profit upon the sale of the house back to the family is 43,135. So the total profit that we made from this deal was $92,510. That's roughly about 31.5% a year. You won't see that in a GIC. And if you do, let me know, because then I'll park my money there. But you won't find that. Not in any stocks that you're going to gamble with. That's projected and predictable income secured on a hard asset. This is what I mean by being able to create the returns that you want. This is the possibility. That's, by the way, for the next 3 years, almost 100% return on your investment. Now, I didn't put any money in this deal. So what was my return? If I have no money in the deal, what was my return? Infinite. Infinite. So if it was infinite, how many of those deals can I do over and over and over and over again? How many people that know somebody that has money? Ask those people. But you got to have a good deal. So the rule of 72 is, well, it determines how long it will take an investment to make double, to make double. Okay. So if you had left money in a savings account, if you left $1 million in a savings account to make 2 million, it would take you at 1%, it will take you about 72 years. GIC, maybe 36 years. And maybe the average stock return, you're looking at like 6%. So maybe 12 years. But what if you had no money in the deal? It's like infinite. You can't divide by 0. It's infinite. So if we look at it like this, the total monthly cash flow at $500. Oh. And then if we multiply that by 4, so if you do, sorry, give me a second here. I think we're missing a slide. Okay, there we go. So yeah, 500,000. Oh, sorry, $500. You do 4 of these deals in a year, and you do a 50-50 split every time. So that means your investor's making 500, you're making 500, everyone's happy. You do 4 of these, total monthly cash flow in the first year, you're making $2,000. But because you can now make this infinitely over and over again, what if the next year you decide to do another 4? So on top of what you had before, the 2,000, now you have 8 of these deals, and now you're making $4,000. Is it starting to make a little bit of an impact in your life now? Some of us are only making $4,000 a month. I was only making about $4,000 a month when I was working at my job. This is money that's just coming in every month passively. That's not money that I have to work, go to a job, and sit down or do the work that I have to do and slave away to make $4,000 a month. It is just money coming in every month. Now the third year, let's say we do a little bit more. We do 12 of these in total. And then you start making $6,000. Now we're only looking at one source of income right now. That's just the cash flow. We haven't even talked about what happens when you sell the home back to the family, because then you make a really big chunk of change. And that's when you can start to really, really accelerate your journey. That's when you start to grow exponentially, because now you can take that money, you can reinvest it with another student Let's say it's like, if I had extra money, here, Mike, I have an extra $50,000. Can you do something with it? Now, on top of my own deals, I have that $50,000 Mike that's making me more money. Now I get more capital, and then I park it with Andrew, and then I accelerate more. On top of that, I get another capital, another $50,000, park it with Nina, and then that my money's accelerating even more on top of everything else I'm doing on top of that. How nice is that? That I have money working hard for me and me making money on top of that, creating wealth, real wealth. And in order for me to do that, if I had to save money for all 12 deals, that's going to be a lot of money. How many years is going to take me to save up for 12 properties? That's a long time. I'll be like an old man by that time. And Steven, who's not here right now, but he's part of the team, he always says, how many 10 years do you have in your life? If you're trying to buy a pre-construction, wait for it to appreciate, sell it in 10 years, then buy another one, appreciate for another 10 years. That's going to take a very long time. Versus, well, can I find 12 different individuals who have money and park that money with me, and then I can start making money that way? Because it's all about sharing the wealth. I'd rather have a slice of a watermelon than one single grape. One single grape. Share the wealth. Your network is your net worth. Because the fact is, if you are the opportunity creator, you know how to create these opportunities. Well, all you have to do is pull the people together. That's the deal, the opportunity. And now you just got to pull the money, find the money. And I used to think that money is always the hardest part. Money is actually the easiest part. There's always money everywhere. There's a lot of money. How many rich people do you know around you? A lot of rich people don't know what to do with their money. So if you know what to do and you know how to take care and master money, you mastered the dollar. Well, people are willing to park money with you because they trust you. They know that you can keep the money safe, and they know that you can grow that capital and make more money for them and for yourself. That is the power. So we're going to get into the second secret here, and that is how to build and grow a cash flowing real estate portfolio, regardless if you have no time or you're working a full-time job. So that's the second secret here. You're muted, Nina. Nina's going to take over here.
How to build and grow a cash flowing real estate portfolio, regardless if you have no time and are working a full time job. This is the second secret. And type in the chat how many of you does this describe? And this was definitely me just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? Most of us are busy. And I'm just going to most of us are very busy people, and there's a difference, busy versus productive. I know this busy bee all too well, and oftentimes I do bounce back into that. However, as we surround ourselves with the right people and people who are really looking to achieve big goals, we really start to make the difference versus busy versus productive. For me, I was trying to be everyone to everybody. This is that person who tries to get a 10 out of 10, a 12 out of 10 in everything they do. It's prioritizing small tasks, big tasks, and trying to achieve perfection. How many of you have heard that statement or that saying of progress over perfection? Moving that needle just one step forward, just focusing on that next immediate step in order to reach that big desired goal. The difference between productive people, when you really take a step back and look at the whole picture, a 360 view, and really examine how much closer is your next step taking you to your big end goal. We have choices, and busy, my friends, is just an excuse. We're all busy. We all have multiple roles that we accomplish and fill, whether it's family roles, whether it's professional designations. However, how much is each of those roles taking you to your end destination? Productive people will sit on a day to day basis, carve out those extra few minutes, and prioritize what is going to push that needle, what is most important to get done. And they focus on getting those tasks done and deciding which projects and tasks and priorities can be pushed to a later time. So again, I really want you to look at this list and decide, are you a busy person or are you a productive person? And productive people rest. Productive people recharge. So take that time and really understand what's going to help you become more productive. What's going to help you work smarter, not harder. And so when we look at this is that me. This I was that person. I was that busy person. So highly educated, 8 years of education. I had over $100,000 in student loans, and working as a full-time, busy licensed pharmacist, 50 plus hours a week, evenings, weekends, holidays, managing multiple teams over multiple pharmacies. It was great from a professional perspective. However, it costed me a lot of mental stress and anxiety. And how was I going to accomplish my goals, my vision? There was just not enough time. When I learned that there was a way to make passive income, money while I sleep, think about that. Make money while you sleep? How's that even possible? I knew I had to come and figure out another way to do this. But where was I going to find this time? I was too busy. And I remember when I sat down with my mentor and explained my full schedule, expecting him to understand and feel compassion for me, he shrugged his shoulders and said, "It's up to you." And what did Vince say? "It's up to me." I knew that if I wanted to live life differently, if I wanted to live life on my own terms, I had to do something different. I had to take a step back and look at my full picture and figure out where this time was going to be created. I mean, I wanted more than 3 weeks of vacation time a year that I could decide when, where, and how I was going to take it. I loved the idea of being able to grow my business from around the world. How was I going to do this? I looked back and looked at this full scale of all the different parts of my life: health and well being, career and money, home and family, life purpose and vision, relationships, personal growth, spirituality. And I realized that after working all these hours in the pharmacy behind the counter, the cost of that was every other category in this. My career being at a solid 9 out of 10, but my health and well being, my spirituality, relationships, home and family, hobbies and creativity, everywhere from a 2 to a 3. I mean, how sad is that? And my body was reacting with stress from burnout, from exhaustion. And so when I looked at this, I had two options. I could either give up, succumb to my circumstances, take a pay cut, free up time that way, change jobs, and be a victim of my circumstances. Or I could take charge, figure out a new way, sit in the driver's seat, and just do whatever it took in order to learn how to make money while I sleep. I was willing to sacrifice a bit of sleep to make money while I sleep, to learn how to make money while I sleep. And if you are motivated, if you're ready to get productive and make something of your current situation so that in a year from now, 2 years from now, you could be doing the same thing of growing your portfolio around Canada, around US, around the world, leveraging multiple different investing strategies, passive income strategies, then this is the place for you. If you're not willing to put the work in, if you're not willing to get the guidance and support to do so, you can exit this webinar right now. This is about getting on your own 2 feet, doing the work, and focusing on that immediate next step to create results. And so I would love to present a case study to you. How do you create this passive income? And similar to Vince, and we focus on many, many strategies, but lease options is a great strategy to get out of that rat race. My case study here is focusing on one of my lease options deals, and I've actually used my latest lease options deal to show you that you can still find great deals. And by the way, great deals are not found. Great deals are created. If a great deal is to be found, you're going to be waiting a very, very long time. So let me tell you about my lease options. This lease option deal was with a veterinarian. And this veterinarian I actually found very creatively with the help of my realtor, my power team members. Not all realtors are created equally, not all investors are created equally, not all mortgage brokers are created equally. We are really looking to build and create and nurture relationships that will help us create win-win solutions of growing each other's businesses. My realtor was hosting an open house and to lease out a unit, and managed to come across this young female professional, a veterinarian, who was so eager to find her own place but couldn't afford to buy her home yet, not because she didn't have the credit, but because she did not have the down payment. Now, how many of you believe that with the rising costs of living, with inflation, with all this craziness with the market and interest rates, it's becoming harder and harder and harder for young, deserving families and professionals to own their own home? And so, again, as investors, as solution creators, we are able to create opportunities and work with the right people who we can then support achieve their end goals. So, for my realtor, when he met this young professional, he recognized if she was willing to spend $3,000 in rent, had a very decent paying job as a veterinarian, why should she not be able to live in her own home? And for him, an opportunity to help purchase a home. So he introduced her to me and did my due diligence process. And I have a very, very thorough and extensive screening process, not just with myself, but also with my credit specialist, with my mortgage broker, whom I have trained by my education, by my mentorship, by the guidance to help vet this person out. Were they suitable for my program? And would you believe it? I actually turn away most people who apply to my program because I really want to help the right people, and I really want to provide my investors with the best sorts of deals to make sure and help them secure their money and get the returns that they deserve. And so once I met this individual, which I'll run through the numbers with all of you right now, the numbers were really looking very, very good. I was going to help this individual, my tenant buyer, save a little bit of money on rent. Remember, she was willing to spend $3,000. Her rent came in slightly less than that. And then we were going to structure her payments so she could also save for her down payment through this program. Win, win, win. And by the way, she was so happy that she was going to be able to eventually own this home, call it her own today, pick the home of her choice, and have a bedroom each for her fur babies. Yes, she's giving each of her fur babies their own bedroom. Isn't that special? A win-win-win solution. So here is my rent to own analysis for this deal. And like I said, I'm using a very current deal to help demonstrate these deals are out there to be created. So we purchased this home for $370,000 with a future home purchase price for $407,000. And I'm rounding up the numbers just to help demonstrate the example. My tenant buyer was going to bring an option consideration and an initial deposit, her initial skin in the game of $10,000. And that was going to help my investor in terms of an acquisition cost perspective. So my investor was going to bring in $70,000. With a monthly rent of $2,550, remember what I said, she was willing to pay up to $3,000, and her initial monthly deposit for her savings for her down payment at $1,285, a total revenue of $3,835. Expenses, so we're responsible for the mortgage, the tax, the insurance, Total expense of 2026. Simple math, revenue minus expenses. My tenant buyer is responsible for all the utilities, all the maintenance, all the management. And this is where it's very, very important for me to hand select my tenant buyers. Monthly cash flow of $1,800. $1,800. Now remember, when I showed these numbers to a few investors, I mean, I remember I clicked send on my deal proposal and I refreshed my inbox and I had 3 responses already saying, I want in. Give me more information. I want in. If you want in on this deal, type I want in. I want in. And just to make a very big disclaimer here, at TYT, trainers, coaches, mentors, we do not do deals with students. I repeat, we do not do deals with students. And why is that? We don't do deals with students because we want you to learn how to fish. If we just teach you how, if we just serve you the fish, sorry, we just serve you the fish and we don't teach you how to fish, that's not really fair on you. That when you go out there 1, 2 years after your education, after your mentorship, and you don't know how to create your own deals, is that really fair to you? No. However, I was also once a student. I became a student in 2020. I graduated in 2022. And while in the program, I surrounded myself with other community members, other students, and we were doing deals all together all of the time. And so me and my investor, he was a student with me at the same time, and we still belong to the same community. We're good friends. And when I presented this deal to him, he was right on it. Actually, he was traveling, I think, in France or in Spain or something like that. And he sent me a quick WhatsApp saying, I'm in. So $1,800 a month. Profit from sale. This is a 2-year program at $7,300 after the investors paid back, after the young professional here receives her deposit payment. We're going to walk away from sale $7,300. The total profit over 2 years, $50,000 divided by 2, 50-50 with myself and my partner, $25,000 each. Now, if you're here just to learn how to do one deal, it's not the place for you. This is about building a scalable portfolio. This is about being able to pivot as the market changes. And so therefore at TYT, Tim Tsai, our founder, always talks about 3x3, learning how to scale the portfolio for cash flow and active capital generation with strategies like rent to own, so that we can leverage long-term wealth creation long-term wealth creation with multi-unit properties, land development, and other sorts of strategies. So how many of you think that in this market with interest rates where they're at, and yes, they're coming down, great, but a 15% ROI or 16% ROI per year for my investor, how happy is he? And how much money do I have in the deal? Donut, 0. What is my return? Infinite. Can you type in the chat? Infinite, infinite, infinite. So what did the last few years look like for me? I realized I had to go from busy to productive. If I was going to make this work, if I was going to design life on my own terms, if I was going to free up time, life's most valuable currency, something that I was so in shortage of, I had to become more productive. I had to learn techniques. I wanted to learn techniques of how I was going to become a successful investor. There were some short-term sacrifices. I'm not going to lie about that. Sometimes, instead of a 3-hour date night on a Friday night, it was a quick Domino's pizza and getting back to my studying and taking action. Sometimes it was sacrificing that extra hour of sleep. However, I knew that I wanted to free up my time up so much that I was willing to do whatever it takes. My first goal, was to build passive income, create passive income to help replace some of my income. I made very good money. I made over a 6-figure salary. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And not everyone starts in that position, and we recognize that. However, your own money also always runs out. And remember, I also said I was over $100,000 in student loans. Some of you might be thinking, over $100,000? How? I went to school in the US and very blessed to live in a country like Canada where education is not so expensive. But I did my 6-year doctor of pharmacy program in the US. And so those loans were massive. And I remember when I shared this with my parents, that I'm going to venture out on this journey to become a full-time investor. I said, "Are you crazy? You're going to spend that time and you still have all these loans? Like, what are you thinking?" And remember, our closest family and our closest people, sometimes they might be our biggest naysayers, and not because they don't believe in you, but because they just want the best for you. And so this is really where I was so determined to show everyone I could do it and I was going to do it. So by my education, by my mentorship, by taking action and staying focused and committed to my journey, I did it. Taking action on multiple strategies, building a portfolio around Canada, leveraging rent to owns, multi units, distressed properties, private lending, joint venture partnerships, creative financing. I first started as a passive investor, as a money partner, leveraging different sorts of creative finances in order to get into doing multiple deals and supporting other investors through their deals. Remember, I had funds and lazy credit that I could use in someone else's deal that they were creating and looking for funds. A win-win again. And I was able to grow in multiple markets and still growing throughout multiple markets. Windsor, Sudbury, London, Ottawa, New Brunswick, British Columbia, and most recently in the United States. And one other strategy I forgot to add here is a totally different asset class in the stock markets, trading, leveraging bots. I mean, sounds too good to be true, and it's possible. I did it. And so in pictures, that's April 2022. That's my last day at the pharmacy in full-time employment, where I locked that door and gave my employer the keys. That's September 2022 with my business partner, my husband, Nikin, my best friend, and that it also depends when he's not in the doghouse. However, that's us collecting our Financial Freedom Award. And that's my mentor, Jeffrey, also in September 2022, when he stood so proudly by my banner at one of our workshops or conferences. And I remember my mentor challenged me, "Nina, you're too comfortable. You know how to make really good money. Do you really know how to keep it in your pocket?" And I was determined again to show that I can do it. And at first, it was about everyone else and trying to show everyone I could do it. At the end of the day, I thought back to my circle of wealth, and it was really about me. If I wanted to create this life, design this life on my own terms, create the time I so deserved, I was going to do that for me, for us, for our family. So, as Vince mentioned earlier, we love to travel. And now that we have all this time and flexibility and the ability to operate businesses from around the world, since 2022, these are all the places I've been to. And I think I've missed a few as well. How many of you like to travel? Put it in the chat. I like to travel. That bottom picture there is in Greece. We were in Naxos watching the sunset, watching the sunrise and sunset. Some of my most beautiful and most favorite things to do is just spending that time in reflection about all that's been accomplished. And 2024, oops, sorry, there we go. My computer is also getting so excited right now. These are between growing my businesses, like I said, from around the world. My parents there helped them retire. That's one of my realtors and one of my tenant buyers, one of our students, advanced students within the community, because now I get to lead and share and grow and create impact amongst all of you who are looking to learn and learn how to do and scale your portfolio differently, actually create tangible results, that passive income that you deserve. And within our community, we grow together, and that's where, I mean, you'll see in the bottom, that top right picture there, that's all the trainers, the coaches, the mentors that are within the community to support your growth, to teach you how to do this, so that in a year from now, in 2 years from now, you'll be that much closer to your financial freedom. So we go back to, how do we find this time? How do we create this time? Remember, time is our greatest equalizer. It's something that we can all align on and we all have the same amount of. So, how many hours are in one week? 24 times 7, right? I have 24 times 7. You have 24 times 7. What's that total? Anyone want to do quick math and put it in the chat? 168 hours. So think about that. 168 hours in a week. What do you do with that in one week? Break it down. 24 hours in a day. How do you spend your 24 hours? For myself, I know that when I was in full-time employment working those 50, 60 hour weeks, I was being micromanaged, watched from a camera. I didn't have that time to grind away and work on my own business. I had to create that time. So ask yourselves those questions. Where does your time go? If you're working 8, 10-hour days, where does that rest of the time go? And can you dedicate an hour a day? I know my time allocation when I first started was about 5 to 6 hours a week, right? So an hour a day to build momentum for your future. How much is that worth? And I promise, hand on heart, I would not be able to live the life I'm living now from a time perspective if I did not dedicate that time for those couple of years. An hour a day. But let me tell you one thing as well. It became so much easier to do it when I was surrounded by other like-minded people driving and trying to do the same things. That when I felt demotivated, I could turn to my peers within my community and ask for support, ask for help, ask for accountability. And by that support, I was able to scale fast. I did not have another 5 or 10 years under me. I mean, I was already burnt out with exhaustion. It was already affecting my mental health. So I was willing to sacrifice that time, that little amount of time, in order to push my needle forward and get to my cash flow goal, that goal that was going to help me decide if I wanted to stay in my job or not. Now, let me be extremely clear. This is not about quitting your job. This is about creating options that should you wish to leave your job, you can. Should you wish to go part-time, you can. Should you wish to keep employment and help just your money compound and work more for you, you can. This is about creating options for yourself. Are you willing to do that for yourself? Do you deserve that? I know I did. Do you? Do you want your time back? Then you have to do something about it. So let's look at 168 hours again. If we spend 56 hours a week sleeping, and that's 8 hours a day. I need about 6. I don't know about you. But let's say 6 to 8 hours a day. 56 hours. You spend 56 hours working a week. And that's still, I mean, the average work week's 40 hours. For me, I was in that 50 to 60 hour range. What are you doing with that rest, that other 56 hours in a week? And yes, I know some of you are thinking, well, we have families, we have other responsibilities, kids have activities, but let's really start to break this down and really create perspective. And sometimes we have to get really smart with our time. And I remember when I was a student, I watched our time management course and it blew my mind where sounds obvious, but some of the tips and tricks I was given on how I was just going to be able to get more done in the same amount of time really helped me push the needle. And another great read I highly recommend, Atomic Habits. At TYT, we're all avid readers, or some of us don't like to read, we'll listen to audibles, or some of us use Blinkist or other means, but again, sharing in our lessons, and those are distributed through our course material to say, how do we find ways to be more productive and more effective as individuals, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as trying to scale our portfolio to be the best it can, best performing it can. Performance, So key when we talk about how to hit those cash flow goals. We don't want to just collect property, we want performing assets. So we're left, remember, 56 for sleep, 56 for work. Where do we spend the other 56? So let's really break that 56 down. Let's say we spend half of those 56 hours that are remaining of the week in leisure and entertainment, whether it's exercising, meditating, journaling, going out with friends, date night, eating meals, cooking, leisure and entertainment, what you also deserve, what your body deserves for rest and recharge to show up so that you can be the best person you can be and be as effective and productive as possible. Let's say you have 14 hours for chores and errands. You still have 14 hours left. Think about that. And I remember one of my mentors, Ray, actually suggested for me to keep a 15-minute by 15-minute time log when I was complaining about not having time. And I was mind blown with how much time I was actually wasting. Do you want to get your time back? How important is that to you? And what are you willing to do? One of my most favorite, and I think amongst the team's favorite philanthropist, Jim Rohn, if it's important to you, you will find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. It's up to you.
And we've made it to the third secret. Now, it's a common one that comes up because people will say they have no time, they'll say they'll have no money, and if they do have those things in order, they're going to say, well, it's not right now that's a good time to invest. It's too risky. However, when you know what you're doing and you're trained properly in real estate, you can make money in this industry, in investing, no matter what the market's doing, up, down, or sideways. And so I'm Andrew Cowie. There are some of my accolades there: a father, son, husband, real estate investor, and a strategy coach. And that's not always been the case. Now, my investor and strategy coach journey started only about 3, 4 years ago when I was in my mid-level corporate job, which was good. I was a homeowner. I was proud. That was good. And I was married, which was great. My wife would agree that that's a great thing. And so overall life was good. However, it was just good. And don't get me wrong, fortunate, happy as to where I was. And at the same time, there were things that weren't quite complete. I've always had an entrepreneurial drive, and I knew that I needed more in life than I was getting with what I had at that time. So I started looking around at different ways to free up time, progress, make more money, and time again, real estate kept coming up as a common vehicle that people use to get rich. In fact, 90% of millionaires get rich through real estate. And moreover than becoming rich, they become wealthy, and the wealth is what leads to freedom and financial freedom. And now that's what I learned. And when I started looking more into it and talking about it with people, people started regurgitating the news to me and telling me about how real estate is always risky because it's going to crash. And we've heard this for years and years and years. There's always the fear mongering going on about what's going to happen in the market. And that's actually what keeps people away from taking this chance and investing into real estate. Now, here's the thing: Warren Buffett, I know a lot of you have heard of him. He has a very famous quote that we look at all the time, and it's on the screen: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And there's a graphic there, and you'll know it because Vince said earlier, if your cab driver is telling you about it, it's too late. Well, it's also what everyone is thinking and hearing. So all of a sudden, if the market's on its way up and everyone's getting excited, everyone wants to get in there and buy, and they're getting greedy. Well, wait a minute. we know as professional investors who are trained to understand the market that maybe when everybody else is buying something, it may not be the best time for the professionals to buy. And 95% of the population is in that category of following the trend in the wrong way, buying because other people are doing, and then all of a sudden the market starts to come down, everyone gets scared, and they start to sell things off. And what many amateur investors do, they do this until they're broke. In fact, we have people coming to us looking for support who have been in real estate for years, and at the same time they haven't been able to get ahead because they've been buying and selling, and it's not actually getting them anywhere. They haven't reached their goals, they're still in their job, so it's not actually serving them other than them being able to say they invest in real estate. Now, we're not going to go over this entire graphic now. However, I think you understand the point. There's 4 phases in a real estate cycle, and this repeats itself and continues on forward. Recovery phase, then expansion, and then you get up to hyper supply, and then it comes down to more of a recession. And some people would argue right now we're in a recession. Some might say we're in a recovery stage. And that's up to you to learn to understand the markets and make your own decisions with training that makes sense for you. Now, one of the more risky investing strategies that people think is risky is flipping, especially in unknown markets. So I'm going to share a couple of very quick overviews of some flips that I've done in both an up market and a down market. So a flip, if you're not too familiar with it, this is where we find a distressed property, something that's old, tired, needs work, and we get it for under market value. We want to make sure there's money in the buy, which is a super, super key element of investing in real estate. We're going to then leverage our power team, and this will allow us to win in any market condition when we renovate this house and sell it. And so when the market goes up, this can work to our advantage. And I'm going to give you an example when I was greedy, when others were fearful. Now, I actually bought this property in the dead of the winter. Everyone was scared. They were cold, market's going down, and I noticed the trend. And I said, you know what? This is a great time for me to get a great deal because this is where money can be made. So that's exactly what I did. And I'm going to show you the quick numbers on the deal. When you know the market and you understand it, you can strategize for it. So we ended up buying that property. We sold it for 1.11 million. The closing costs upon acquisition were about 46,000. Rehab costs about 110,000. This is for everything to flip the property into something beautiful: flooring, paint, kitchen, basement. Really nice job. Carrying cost about 31,000. Sales commission was 58,000, and the original price was only 700. Now, this owner actually had another offer at the time that the other buyer was got scared. They got some cold feet, and so they decided to work with us on this. Now, when you understand the market and you know that you can be greedy when others are fearful, you can use that to your advantage. And on this deal, it returned a profit of 165,000. We got it when it was low, got the great deal money in the buy. So despite the market, we looked at our numbers, followed the numbers, followed my mentor and their experience, and made this deal happen for $165,000 of net profit. That's after everything was paid off. So that happened in a market that was low and it was on its way up, and we knew when to strike. It's not always going to be like that. We're going to have down markets. And as professional investors, we can change strategies in down markets, or we can take a strategy that we understand inside and out and still continue to run that business to make money to ensure we continue living the life that we want. So here's an example of the market going down. We get up to hyper supply. There's a lot of supply and it starts to decrease. Now this one here, we bought when the market was kind of up, and we knew it was going to come down because we understand the cycle and we're looking at all the analytics. So with this one, we were conservative with our numbers. We made sure we budgeted a little extra time, a little extra money, and the selling price that we estimated in the end was also going to be lower, knowing that the market was coming down. That being said, on this project, we went over time, even though we added more time for the market conditions. We went over budget, even though we had added in extra budget. The difference was we did a really good job on it. And through our power team members and people that we've met through referrals, we were able to produce a good result, even in the down market when a lot of things didn't go our way. So this is the deal here. We ended up selling it for 1.4 million. Closing costs were 57,000. Rehab at 175. Carrying costs at 90. Sales commission at 64. Our original price. Now remember, we got this kind of at a higher part of the market, so we didn't pay rock bottom. However, 975 was a price that still worked out for us when we were running our numbers. With that, despite going over time, going over budget, and having a down market to strategize for, we profited $39,000. Now, I was not happy with this because we went over time and over budget. However, I'd ask you, how would you like that return in an 8-month time period? Again, longer than we would like to spend on that property. However, that was something that we were still able to do because we're professionally trained. We have the right people in our corner, and we understand the market and how to make money in any spot. Now, it doesn't have to be flipping. However, I do want to talk about this before Mike takes over, and that is making money even when the market is going sideways. And this is something that you will learn how to do so that you avoid timing the market.
Thank you, Andrew. So Andrew has showed us how to make money when the market goes up, how to make money when the market goes down. Now, the question is, how do we make money, or can we make money in a flat market? Scott, what do you think? Because you seem to be the only one with the camera on, not shy to show your face. Maybe everyone's zoomed out these days. I thought we'd be used to it by now, but Scott is on camera. What do you think with the sideways market? Can we make money?
Absolutely, I do believe.
Awesome. And you're 100% right. So in a sideways market, as an educated investor, we can still make money. This is where it's extremely, extremely important to understand various strategies, because sometimes one strategy in your current market where it might feel a little flatline might not work. But this is where we take that strategy, we go into the different markets and we utilize it. That's where we say SMP, strategy, market, property. Now, with that said, there's more to it. There's way more to it. We got to understand the rules of investing. And some of those rules are, and Andrew had mentioned it, is make money in the buy. Despite the market being flatline, if we can buy something here, and this is where the market's at, would you agree that we still have a spread? Absolutely. So as educated investors, we want to underestimate our revenue, overestimate our expenses. When it comes to renos, stretch that timeline. If you get a quote and your general contractor or your contractors say it's going to take 3 months, well, you double that up, put in 6 months. Now, another thing is you want to have multiple exits. Multiple exits, meaning, hey, if you're looking to maybe just do a flip, well, what if that flip doesn't work and the market takes a bit of a shift? Maybe when you bought, for example, Andrew's deals, they're not just 1 month turnarounds. These are 6 months, 8 months. Well, can the market take a bit of a turn for the worse in those, in that amount of time? Absolutely. So we got to be prepared for that. How do we prepare? How do we protect that? Well, we have multiple exits and we follow the rules of investing. So I'm going to show you how we can still make money in a flatwards market with one of my deals. But before I get into it, quick little little bit about me. My name is Mike Morrow, and I am a strategy coach here at Trust Your Talent. This is my everything right here. This is my purpose. This is what got me to get started in real estate investing, was my wife and my two boys. Because before that, I embarked on this journey with none of my own money. I had a corporate job. I was making six figures, which is well. However, I think that the biggest problem was I didn't understand financial education. So although I was making good money, I was still living rather paycheck to paycheck, just paying bills. And when I found out I was going to become a father, that's when it dawned on me that I had to change. I was in control. However, I did not know what I did not know. So I seeked, some advice, and I ended up at a workshop like all of us, Vince, Andrew, and Nina, to be able to see what the opportunities were, to see what was possible. And after that, I realized financial education was important, something I'd never learned throughout my childhood, even throughout college as a business major. So we got educated. We learned how the real estate investing was done. And with that, we were able to reach financial independence within 3 years. My wife was able to transition, stay at home with our two boys, spend that quality time how she wanted. And as of recent, I've parted ways from my six-figure employment as well, because of the various strategies that we've learned. And again, we were able to do this with none of our own money. We had pennies in our pocket at the time, wondering, well, we learned how to do this. How are we going to get our first deal? And I think we've showcased it between all the different deals here that it is possible when you know how to do it, because we create the deals. Today, my wife and I, we spend quality time with our boys. We were able to do some traveling, but none of that would have been possible. We do various strategies in various markets, lease options to distressed properties, to income properties. We are doing paper asset investing, which Nina had discussed as well, just to name a few. So I'm going to jump into the deal, however. So how do you make money in a sideways market? This is one of my recent flip deals. So just a bit of a backstory behind this one. Again, we always say your net worth or your network is your net worth. You got to let people know what you're doing. In fact, this was here for a for sale by owner. It was someone I had worked with in my previous employment. Was, hey, Mike, I'm looking to sell my place. Do you know anyone that could help? With a bit of a joke, a bit of a laugh. And although we're not realtors, he understood that I could maybe help him out in a situation. He didn't have contractors. He's not handy. He wasn't able to, do the maintenance and the rental work, nor did he have the contacts or the know-how. So what do? We create win-win situations. We create the solutions. As educated investors, we are solution providers. So what do we do here? I ran some numbers, figured out what his pain points were, what he's looking to get out of it, what his current situation is. We were able to acquire this with him holding the finances. So not to get into the nitty gritty of this is something that you will learn in advanced strategy courses, but I basically it was like a rent to own, a lease option acquisition. So don't let that might be over your head at the moment. Let's get into the numbers and just show you how this one worked. So the seller held the financing. So basically all I had to do was, and when we agreed upon, was just to cover the cost of his mortgage, cover his expenses. And what this eliminated was him having to work with a realtor, do multiple showings, maybe try to get it up to snuff by getting it renovated. I was able to bypass all of that and take the burden off him, put it onto my plate, because as an educated investor, I know how to do this. So to run into the numbers quickly, we negotiated a purchase price of $204,500. Now, our expenses, we had renovation costs. Again, this was a quick flip. We did a very quick flip. So it was about just shy of 10,000. So we were $9,689. Maintenance costs, there was a bit of a plumbing issue that we identified throughout our due diligence, doing the inspection, which came up to 236,000. We had a cleaning fee, post-construction cleaning fee, small place. Again, this was just a smaller apartment that we were looking to flip because we don't tend to hold these ones. We flip those. That's just based on our preference because we can control it. The cleaning fee was 120 bucks. We did condo doc reviews, so $414. Inspection was 315. Our closing cost with the lawyer was 1,500. Again, holding cost was his mortgage and utility, which came up to 1,600 bucks for that month. The turnaround on this was just a couple weeks. So our total expenses came to $13,874. So what did we sell it for? $250,000. So I'll break that down to give you a bit of an idea of what our profits were. So realtor fees were $12,075. We do volume with the realtor. Again, build the relationships with your power team. We do volume, so we had a $1,500 discount on this one. That came to $10,575. So our total expenses, if you look at the bottom left, $1,387 plus the realtor fees, that came to $24,449. So you look at the total, the selling price of 250 minus what we picked it up for, 2,000 or 200,500 minus our total expenses of 24,449. We left away with a profit of just a little over $20,000. Now, keep in mind, all of our expenses, and this is again something we will go into further detail in creative financing, which is another advanced strategy. I was able to do this with none of my own money, except for that 1,500 bucks, because that's what we covered the cost for that was the mortgage and the expenses. When we leveraged our credit cards, and with credit cards, you're given 30-day period of no interest. We flipped this from renovation to selling within 4 weeks. So we did not hit that interest period. I was able to get into this deal with none of our own money. We made $20,000 in just 1 month. So let's say you did 6 of those, one every other month. What's your return? Is that what most people make in a year? 120,000 to go do 6 of these? What if you had the right team, the right education, the right support to be able to do this once a month? Would 240,000 be enough to cover, to live the lifestyle that you have, or even upgrade your lifestyle from your current position? That's up to you guys. We got educated. We know how to do this over and over and over again. So you can't control the storms. However, you can prepare for them. Jim Rohn, we all love Jim Rohn here. He says, the wind's going to blow. It's how you set your sail. When you're educated and you know how to leverage other strategies to go into different markets, whether it's going up, sideways, or down, we can make money. And that's the power of learning how to do this. So would you say, over the past hour and a bit together, would you agree that it's been, time well spent so far? Can I get a thumbs up? A yes in the chat? We're not like others. What do most people do when they get home from work? Are they maybe just sitting at home, kicking the feet up, watching sports, watching Netflix, scrolling on their phone, gossiping? We're here together tonight, to level up, right? Now, that being said, just like university, just like college, we cannot cover all of this in just an hour and a half. This takes a lot more. We got to dive into the details. We can't cover all of this, unfortunately. As much as we'd love to, there's just more to it. If we gave you with what we just went over right now, would you agree it'd be a gambling, maybe a little risky? This is what separates us from the ones that try this once and never come back. So what we're going to do, we have a special offer. What if we were to give you guys everything that you need to know so you can go out there and do the deals that we're doing to increase your level of income, to provide that time that you guys want? What would that do for you? And if you act fast, I'm going to give you guys a very special deal. So everyone's sitting there. Drum roll. What are we going to give you? Well, 3 full days of live training, 8 hours a day in person, just like I had back when I started back in 2018. So 3 full days of live training, valued at $4,997, to be surrounded, trained, and educated by investors like Vince, Nina, Andrew, and our mentors and trainers, the people that are walking the walk, talking the talk. We're going to give you 3 days of full immersive training. Now, we get to where we are based on the habits we have, right? Your habits got you to where you are today. However, you got to ask yourself, you're here for a reason. Is it to, again, increase your income, create some passive cash flow, maybe give you options to have more time to spend with family? Well, for change, something's got to change. Sometimes, like Nina said, we have to ask ourselves, what do we need to give up? What do we need to give up? Is it our circle? Is it our habits? Well, now it's time to develop new ones. So what we're going to give you, again, is 3 full days of live training, 8 hours a day, where you're sitting side by side with investors like ourselves and others, going through calculations, going through due diligence, and understanding the various strategies that can be applied in many different markets, whether it's up, sideways, or downwards. We're also going to give you the contracts, the spreadsheets that we all use to run our numbers, to put the deal together. These are contracts that we have formulated with our lawyers. And if you've ever worked with lawyers, no offense to them, they can be pricey. So all of these contracts, all of these spreadsheets that are tried, true, and tested that we use ourselves, we're going to give to you for $4,997. A big value. Now that's not it. We got a bit more. Vince, are you ready? Nina? Everybody? All right. So what are we going to give you? 3 full days of live training. We're going to give you the contracts, the calculators, the spreadsheets, everything that we use. But we're also going to give you guys the manuals, the workbooks, everything that we have once used that we know works for you guys. Something that you could take home, that you can follow along with throughout the 3 days, which is a value of $497. Now, who is this work for? Some of you may be asking, is this for me? Well, I'll tell you guys this. This worked for me. 6-figure income. Wife was making good money. We were just tired of living that mediocre life. being controlled by what our employer wanted to pay us, not only with the money, but with the time. So if you feel stuck in your current job, you feel you're doing more than you're getting paid for, not getting that promotion, not getting that increase in pay, this is who it works for. You have the choice to control your destiny, your time, your money. Maybe for those of you that are, labor workers who feel overworked, maybe having to work on the road with no choice because, hey, we got to put food on the table. I got to go spend, the 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, go work on the road, 14-7 shift rotation, be away from my loved ones. Why? Because we got bills to pay. Well, you have a choice. Maybe this is for the people that want to just increase their income. Maybe they love what they do, but they've plateaued. By all the examples you've seen today, do you feel that, there are opportunities? Maybe you just want to protect your money. Even better, grow your money. Learn how to invest. Learn what money means, how it works, how to grow it. And who else has it worked for? You know what? Maybe you've tried, Bitcoin. You've tried, crypto, all those sort of things, and maybe it just didn't work out for you. Well, we have a recipe, we have formulas, we have systems, processes that work that we're going to give to you guys. So again, 3 full days of live training, 8 hours a day, valued at $4,997. The contracts that we use, the calculators, the spreadsheets that will take all the guesswork out, valued at $2,997. The manuals, the workbooks, so you have something to write your notes, to bring home, take that piece home with you. Plus, we'll also give you guys 30-day access to the TYT core courses. Now, if you don't know what those core courses are, this is everything from how to effectively network, how to go out there and spread the word, let people know what you do, be able to be that go-giver and help others out as well as yourself. Because again, we know how to create win-win-win situations. It's also time management. Hey, I'm a father. I have 2 kids. They play sports. They're active. I was even working full time and I was able to do this. We're going to go through the time management component because that's a big piece. We often hear, I don't have enough time. Well, again, Nina went through that. How many hours do we have in a week? Is it an excuse, or will you find a way? Business planning, goal setting, defining your why, just to name a few. That's everything that the core courses will go through. Valued at $9,997. Add all that up, it's a total value of $9,488. So again, I go back to when I first started. Again, pennies in my pocket, just working a job to pay the bills. When I had a newborn come into this world, I had 2 options. First option was to do nothing, spend time trying to figure it out on my own, or just kick the can down the road and, hope and pray that everything will get better. Well, that option was not an option for me. Again, I had a newborn on the way. I knew I had to make that change. I went with second option. It required an investment in myself to upgrade my skill set so I can learn to do what the wealthy do. And that's invest your money in real estate and other asset classes. Again, we're all breathing the same air. And I thought to myself, hey, if I can do this, or Vince, for matter of fact, so can I. So if all this did was, generate an additional 500 a month, we showed the examples of the lease option deals, the flips, 500 a month. Would it be worth it to you guys? What if that 500 a month multiplied? Because again, once you learn how to do this once, you can do this over and over again. What if that allowed you to maybe be rent-free or mortgage-free? What if it allowed you to, cover the cost of your vehicle payments. Would it be worth it? I don't know about you guys. To me, it was. What if it allowed you to fire your boss, just like we all did? And again, it's not about that. I was in this arena, this space for quite a few years, still working for someone else because I didn't mind what I did. However, when it gets to a certain point, you start to look at missed opportunities. What if I were to focus all my time on my side hustle, which was my real estate investing business, and make that my main hustle? What sort of opportunities would you have? Well, that gives you options. Again, is that worth it to you? Maybe, maybe not. So one lease option deal, one good lease option deal done right, the way we educate, the way we train, 5,000, could be 10,000, 25,000, and even more. How much would you pay to get that? How much? The fix and flip deals, Andrew showed you, upward market of 165,000 to a downward market of 38,000. For some people, that's their salary. Again, how much would you pay to be able to learn how to do this over and over and over again? All it takes is one deal. That's all it could take, is one deal. And that opportunity is right around the corner for you guys. So what's freedom worth to you? Is it one deal? Myself, it was two. End of the day, I went into all of our deals as joint venture partners with none of our own money. So we cut the deal in half. It took us 2 deals. Was it well worth it? Heck yes. Are we forever grateful? Yes. It was the best decision we've made. So how much would you pay to be financially free? So for a total value, 3 full days, all the contracts you need, the spreadsheets, the manuals, the support from all the trainers, the mentors, plus the core courses and 30-day access. What would you pay for the support, the guidance, and the direction, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel? Is that worth it for 9,488? Well, it was for me.
Mike.
Yeah.
One more thing, just one more thing. You forgot one more thing.
What's that?
Well, a part of this offer is it's coming up, our 3-day annual InvestEd conference in Toronto, Ontario. And one more thing is that you are going to have your meals included. So I'm just trying to get to my next slide here. So
Meals?
3
We
lunches,
get
dinners, snacks, an additional value of $297 with a total value of $9,785. What do you think? Can you see why it's a good deal at $9,785? But because you are special, because you've committed this time, this investment in yourself to be here and hear the potential and see the potential, we want to give you an offer. And this is up to you. This is about if you're ready to take that action, if you're ready to commit yourselves to this journey. For 3 days, you can get started for not $9,785, but for $697. $697 for 3 days with your meals included and access to our annual gala night, with an opportunity to network with the entire community of students, advanced students, trainers, mentors, to grow your journey, to get started on the right path. To make this happen, scan the QR code, register now. Don't wait. Don't wait. What are you thinking about? 3 days, October 4th, 5th and 6th in Toronto, Ontario at the Sheraton Hotel on Dixon. $697 to change your life, to get started on the right foot, to maybe even meet a partner you could do a deal with. What is that worth to you? Now, you have two choices. The first option, like I said, something I also contemplated myself, do nothing, make excuses, be a victim, and not take that leap of faith, not invest those 3 days. The second option, pony up the small investment, compare that to all of this value that you're going to get, the calculators, the contracts, exposure to all the strategies, meeting like-minded individuals who are excited and eager to design life on their own terms for a measly $697. Give it a shot. What do you have to lose? So get started now. $697. Scan the QR code. Get going. You can do this. Now, the real question, is it worth spending a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which, if it does even half of what we've claimed today, it basically pays itself. Let me show you what to do next. Scan this code, make it happen, register, join us for our Invested 2024 annual conference. Make the decision, make the commitment for yourself, come and show up and make it work. Stop making excuses and come do the work with us. So again, what are you going to get? 3 full days of live training, contracts and calculators, manuals and workbooks, 30-day access to our TYT core courses to, again, continue to build the good habits as you learn to become an advanced investor, an advanced student within the community. 2 breakfasts, 3 lunches and dinner and snacks. What more could you want? A total value of $9,700, all for $697. Now, if you haven't signed up immediately, it's because you're too busy. You're going to get, wake up tomorrow morning, get lost in the daily grind once again, and say that's for people who have more time. And if you remember what I said about myself, I didn't have that time. I created it because my vision and my mission for myself was so important. How important is your vision and mission for yourself? You don't have money. Well, as investors, we find money, we create money. Money is just a tool, it's just a resource. When you learn how to make it, when you learn how to use it, you will find money. And $697, look around, I'm sure you'll find it. Maybe look under that mattress or that pillow. Maybe you feel like this is not going to work. I mean, you've seen different strategies, you've seen us investing in different markets. You see the results within our community. I mean, there's social proof, living proof. Look at our reviews. This is real. But maybe you feel like this is not going to work or you know a better way. And so get started now for just $697. Scan the QR code, invite a friend, come and learn with us. All right. And turn on your cameras.
This is the time, guys. This is your chance to actually make a difference in your life because we were all there at once upon a time. And Scott's actually been to this 3-day workshop before, and it's life-changing. We've all been there. Mike's been there. Andrew's been there. Nina's been there. We've all went through that path, and we've all thought about like, oh, is this going to be the right thing? Are we going to be able to do this? But we just went for it. We knew. There's a gut feeling inside of us that said, hey, we got to do this. We got to make this happen. And so just jump in, make that leap because your life can really, really change for you. Really change.
I'm going to add something to the chat right now. I'm going to add a booking link to talk with us directly. I feel that if you aren't ready at this exact moment, I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. That being said, maybe you can't make it that weekend. You're in another city. Have a call with us. We're not going to charge you for it. However, we want to help people. That's why we're here. That's why we do this. We've had success. We want to continue to share that, pay it forward with other people. So, schedule a strategy session, enroll into the conference today, do something, take action. You've just been here with us for just under 2 hours. So, something in you is burning. You want to make a change. You want to do something. So, do yourself a favor, book the ticket, book a call, and let's get you started. Anyone can do this. Time, money, excuses. We will help you get through those to make some pretty cool things happen. And at this workshop, too, we're going to talk about your why. It's so important. We all have our own whys as to why we even want to invest. And when we really focus on those, whether it's kid, family, travel, freedom, you can't stand going to your job, any of those things can help push you to that next level. And it's also going to make you realize that 700 bucks won't matter once you start getting these results and learning this knowledge. So book a strategy session call. If you're not gonna, if you all haven't already booked, I think we have a couple already that came in for those tickets. So congratulations to those that have taken
Nice.
action on the weekend, which is really
Go.
exciting. So we'll see you there. Scott's gonna be there. I know we wrote that in the chat. We're here to help, guys. So let's do it. Let's move. Let's make it happen. And yeah, let's go.
And like for a lot of us, we we were a little nervous as well, skeptical, and not sure if they were real people. We've all been there, all of us on the team. Um, I'm just happy that I made that decision that day and I jumped in, and the rest was history because financially free at like 27, and then now living the life that I created for myself. What else can I ask for?
I think
I
the
remember
biggest
I
thing
had
is,
to.
but I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing is just believing, anything is possible, and then like beyond that, it's just trust in the process. Trust that what what is out there is tried, true, and tested, and you can really set that trajectory, whatever it is that you want.
For me, I had to find coverage. I had to find shift coverage and break up the days and go open the pharmacy door and then rush to my 3-day workshop, but whatever it takes, whatever it took to show up and learn and grow and build momentum for my future and haven't looked back. I mean, that's the key. All right. Well, we are looking forward to seeing all of you at the 2024 InvestNet Annual Conference in the Center of the Universe, Toronto. We'll see you there. Good night, and thank you for joining
Night,
us.
everybody.
All right, everybody.
Night,
Enjoy it
guys.
and don't settle. Don't settle.
Oh,
Never settle. No excuses.
woo!
Go. All right, guys. We're gonna be heading out now. I wish you guys all the best, of course. Um, Never settle. Just keep going. And like Andrew said, there's a link down below. Message us. We're not gonna bite. We're not gonna charge you for it. Just seek that help. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
You're there.